So why did we pick Ding in the end? Like, what was the name?
It's because we had the name Hardcore Casuals.
That's right, but that kept getting mixed up with that other site.
Someone already had it like 3 years ago, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We took like Ding, which was already had by someone else like 4 years ago.
That'll do. I'll cut that up so it sounds fine.
No, I'll cut it out. I do the first edit, remember?
Oh yeah, of course. Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of Ding. My name is Darth Kcaj, and
Fox.
with me...
Oh, shit.
I was going to introduce you, my man. Don't muck with the formula. It's the best part. It's my most favorite bit.
Okay.
And with me is the illustrious, the most talented MMO expert I've ever met in my life, the fantastic Dr. Fox. Thank you so much, Dr. Fox, for joining me today.
Thank you for the illustrious intro.
Honestly, I still don't think I quite did you justice. I'm super pumped because today we've got a bit of another sort of, I'm not going to say all over the shop, but it's definitely going to visit a couple of topics.
Yeah, I want to talk about some things that are in beta that we haven't been covering when we previously talked about things. And then a big topic I want to talk about, since World of Warcraft just finished off another Timewalking week, which we'll talk about and explain. But this time it was different because they had their first ever Timewalking raid. And they used the flex system, which is very near and dear to my heart. So definitely going to talk about that.
All right, let's dive right into it. Fox, what's first on our list today?
Well, before we go into these things that are coming into beta and alpha, I would like to just mention that RuneScape is coming to phone.
Hold the phone. Okay, so what is this? So RuneScape? It's one of the older MMOs, yes?
It's been around a while. It went through a little revamp, but like I went back to it to help out a mate. Because he needed my help with a two-player quest.
Yes.
The same two-player quest that's been in there since the frickin' beginning. It's an old quest, and it made me realize just how little the game has changed. It might have changed its perspective, like its camera perspective.
Okay.
The gameplay has changed a little bit, like, with a few more hotkeys and stuff to press. But all the quests and the maps and stuff entirely the same. I went in there,
Wow.
My condition was I needed to be given 30 bronze daggers for my help, and I just laid them across the road the entire way we went, and apparently some guy was at the other end picking them up when he saw them. Yeah. So he was having a great time. So we did that quest. Apparently it's going to be all optimized for mobile touch and all that, which sounds interesting. I don't think I'll touch it, but I mean, if someone downloads it on my phone, I'll touch it. But I don't think I'll make the effort myself.
So RuneScape, it is an older game. Do you think that the mobile platform is kind of a more logical place for it to sit? Because, it kind of works with having, not super modern photorealistic graphics or anything like that. And you can sort of pick it up and play it wherever you want, and it's not going to kill the phone's CPUs. Do you think that it might sort of see a bit of a comeback success with this platform change?
I think it'll, it will work on mobile for sure. Based on last time I touched it, especially with its smaller transactions that they have for it, which they've really capitalized on. Back in the day, they used to have an optional membership fee. That was a long time ago. It was one of my first MMOs. It's
wow.
Yeah.
Could RuneScape have been old enough to be the pioneer of the microtransaction? Do you think, or?
That's something for me to look into. That's something that's missing from my knowledge. I need to look into that.
All right, we'll chase it up next one.
Yeah. We'll definitely bring that up again.
Ding, episode 9, a history of microtransactions.
Stop! No spoilers.
I think we beta move on to the betas. Somebody stop me, please. Just pull my mic out. What's first on our list?
All right. Just a little thing, because I'll go up in size. But I saw a very small one. It's a third-person and first-person shooter MMO that's in development It's a very small one so far. Wild West Online.
Wild West Online.
Yeah. You play in a massively multiplayer online game where
Mm-hmm.
you are a cowboy in the Wild West, and you do cowboy things like hunt down bounties and drink and sleep with prostitutes.
This, to me, this seems like a little bit of a no-brainer. Like, this sounds awesome. What sort of art style have they gone for? If they're going for like cartoony, photorealistic.
No, they seem to have gone for as realistic as their graphics seem to allow.
Wow.
You know, it's no big deal, but I liked what I saw. It was endearing, and we'll definitely include a video in the show notes of how they're doing. But it's got guns. They showcased shooting a guy through a tent by seeing his shadow. So I thought that
Oh,
was pretty
that's
nifty.
cool.
And hunting down bounties. I have a bad history with bounty hunters in games, but I do claim bounties myself. It's just I'm used to having a bounty on my head from bad guys. So, I like
Mm,
bounty hunters that work for the law. You know, I don't like
yeah.
bounty hunters that want the bounty.
So, are we sort of looking like an MMO version of Red Dead Redemption? Is that kind of a valid comparison to make here?
I think so. I think that's what they were chasing. When they're going for it.
Mm,
I don't think it's going to have the production value that Red Dead Redemption had. Of course, that's a
mm,
AAA title. These guys are a small indie team.
right.
So it'll be. And I'm not sure how big it'll be. I haven't seen any marketing from it aside from one mention on one YouTube channel as a very brief thing. But it's far from done. I liked the little bit that I saw. I like Wild West stuff. It's cool. It's just like you said. It's a no-brainer. It's a fun little setting to have a massively multiplayer game for, and especially with the success of the Westworld reboot series.
Mm.
I think people would like to experience a bit of the Wild West.
The Wild West genre might be doing the sort of the same thing that the zombies genre was doing a little while ago, where suddenly every TV show, movie, and game had zombies in it. Well, now we're sort of seeing the other way around with cowboys.
Maybe. I mean, I've always been more of the spaghetti western fan. Okay, next up for betas, I think Worlds Adrift is heading into closed beta soon.
Worlds Adrift. I
World,
haven't heard of this one.
Worlds Adrift. Oh, hey, let me enlighten you. All right, this is a little thing between us, but if anybody played on Dreamcast and GameCube, they'll get it too. Skies of Arcadia. You remember Skies of
Oh
Arcadia,
yes,
right?
absolutely.
You're going around on both sailing ships and engine ships from flying island to flying island.
Mm,
You know that? You know that
it was
awesome stuff?
incredible.
I
It had a
love
great
that.
soundtrack too.
Yes. Well, imagine that, but a little bit more MMO, a little bit more physics-based, because it's made by Bossa
Ooh.
Studios, the ones who made that stupid goat game, the stupid toast game, and the
Goat
ones.
Simulator.
Yeah, the ones, the guys that are so obsessed with physics engines, that this they've outdone themselves, from what I've seen,
Mm.
because you can go around with, you got gliders, you got like hook shots, that you can swing around with, you got cannonballs when you fire them from the cannons, they're a projectile, then you
Oh,
just smash into
cool.
things, and of course then you've got the ships, which you can craft at a little shipyard from all the things that you harvest from the floating islands. So you just build up and upgrade your ship and fly it around. You can have as many people as you want on the ship.
So it's kind of like
Guns of Icarus.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's kind of like a MMO successor to Guns of Icarus in that sense.
Kinda, yeah. It's a lot more free roaming,
Mm.
not so much built on combat alone. Like, you can fight if you want, you can explore if you want. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of exploring because they have a knowledge system and there's lots of lore
Wow.
scattered around in these procedurally generated islands. And they also have islands made by the community from the island creator program that they released.
That's very cool. This game sounds like a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I've signed up. I'm very eager to give it a go. I love flying ships. It's a little bit steampunk. I like that. And also, it's a very impressive vision they've got because, like, for example, there are flocks of wildlife that go around, and
Oh wow.
they won't bug you unless you've got, say, a particular thing on your ship that might be shiny or something, and they might start bugging you there. Or you can completely wipe an island clean of resources, and a storm will come to try and rebuild the island. And you need seeds and stuff to travel from island to island to build things up. And you can kill an entire. You can drive a species almost extinct if you want to, which would be messed up, but you can.
It sounds like there's a couple of very ambitious mechanics there. I'll be very interested to see how this one goes as it nears the completion of its beta.
Absolutely, it's very ambitious, but I think it's gorgeous.
This is the second time in 2 pods we've brought up this game, but I think we've got to talk about Destiny 2 again.
Yeah, well, it's coming up soon. It's early access comes out in August, at the end of August, which is coming up pretty quick. And that's early access begins then. I think that's when open beta will come in. But I've seen some gameplay of the closed beta. I skipped through it because I didn't want to spoil too much for myself, and especially since this one has a lot more story than the previous one. So I watched Austin Creed play it. I love Austin Creed. Have you heard of Austin Creed?
No.
He is a pro wrestler. I think he's finishing his doctorate now. Fantastic actor, awesome dude, and he has a gaming channel, and sometimes he plays with his wrestling friends.
This guy sounds like a guy to watch.
He is. He's amazing.
We'll be watching your career with great interest.
Not only is he intelligent, but he's also funny, and he's a pro wrestler.
Incredible.
And sometimes, like, he plays the WWE, I think it's WWE. He plays the video games, and he plays himself in the video game. Yeah, but he really enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching him play it, and from what I can see, I'm definitely keen. I hope I get to play around with pistols and revolvers. They're my favorites to play with, but yeah, like I said last time, I never got to play the first Destiny. I wasn't going to buy a console for it. But the more stuff comes out of this one, the more excited I am for it. I've already pre-ordered the special deluxe edition. How about you?
Oh, wow. I'm going to see what the price is when it comes out in the Blizzard game browser.
Yeah, in the Blizzard app.
Yeah, in the Blizzard app, which is... Once again, I'm so impressed that they managed to get that deal because that's they're setting a precedent for other games to come.
Maybe they said they probably won't do it again, but they're both Activision. This is where the MMO community is mostly situated.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Steam would really be worried because Steam's library is it's so big that it puts it in a different basket altogether. But who I'm sure would be worried is another publisher that seems to pride themselves on having a small library of highly developed and quality first-party games, and that would be EA's Origin, because now that we're starting to see some more games come onto the Blizzard game browser, it's starting to look like a better version of Origin, in my opinion.
I think you make some good points. The Origin browser, the Origin, what have we got? Store?
The Origin abomination.
Yeah, it used to have a lot of problems. It used to be terrible, but it has come quite far from its origin. Not the only one. So I think they already have an MMO on their store, which is Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah, well, yeah,
but I don't think you can compete with World of Warcraft and and Blizzard and their app, which has key I wouldn't say pioneers, but refiners of their genre.
Yeah,
you got World of Warcraft, Overwatch.
Yeah,
Heroes of the Storm. I prefer Heroes of the Storm to any other MOBA. StarCraft 2, and
they have all the key gaming genres covered.
Even CCG, Hearthstone. And
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, we've got so much stuff to cover. We better kick on.
okay, yeah, we'll talk about the big one now.
Tell me, Fox.
All right, let me explain time walking for you.
Yes.
It's really cool. So time walking is where for a week you get to queue up for
We should probably specify. We're talking about WoW.
yes,
Yes.
yes, we're talking about World of Warcraft. Sorry. You queue up. You're allowed to queue up for dungeons from a previous expansion, and it lowers your level and your eye level. It equalizes a lot of your stats. It just lowers everything down and your level to that level,
Okay.
so that you can experience kinda what it was like to play back then. So rather than
Oh,
cleaning up these instances, you're allowed to play through them
and
at
there's
their
still be a bit of a
level.
challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you still need to do the mechanics and stuff, and it's enjoyable. But recently they did their very first time walking raid,
Okay.
which was Black Temple from Burning Crusade, the one where you kill Illidan Stormrage.
Oh wow! So this
Yeah.
is quite, in terms of the WoW legacy and lore. This is quite a big deal. This particular raid.
Well, yeah, especially with Illidan being a part of this current expansion, I think it was a no-brainer to go for this one first. And it was big, and like they made it so the Illidan fight didn't go for 30 minutes like it used to. Uh, no one's got time for that. But
Yeah.
what they used was the flex system, which
Okay.
is something I dearly miss, and I think it could have been implemented better. Flex rating, what they used to do was it's now incorporated into normal and heroic rating, but it would change the power levels of the enemies based on how many people you had in your raid group. So you could have fewer or more
Right.
people, and it would balance accordingly.
So flex rating is kind of like a dynamic difficulty level.
Yeah, and now it's the standard, that dynamic difficulty level. The thing I missed about Flex, though, which is gone, is being able to queue for individual wings of a raid. So, say a raid has 10 bosses, you'd have, say, two wings of four bosses, or a couple, or a few three boss wings. And so like say one Saturday night you get your casual group like my guild together, and we'll just hit a few bosses up, and we don't have to clear the entire freaking raid to reach them, kind of thing.
So it makes it a bit more easy to sort of jump out and jump in, and a bit more of a casual experience as opposed to, okay guys, raid night, block out your curtains, lock your doors,
Yeah,
strap yourselves into your seats for the next 5 hours sort of thing.
exactly. And I don't miss doing that, and apparently a loud enough group of people wanted that, because that's what it is now. If you want to skip to certain bosses, you have to raid completely. You have to do the whole instance, say for one boss. You have to do the whole raid, say for one boss. 4 weeks in, 4 weeks. That's a whole month. You have to do
Wow.
it 4 times to unlock the ability to enter in a different area. I hate that.
Wow.
I really miss just, picking one, dropping into that wing. You could have people drop in, drop out. They didn't have to be summoned. They didn't have to run in and do things. It was a really beautiful system. It was really casual friendly, and I loved it. The reason I mention all this is because they used the flex wing, that like the drop-in system again for this time walking. Unfortunately, they didn't split it into wings. They kept it.
Ah.
They kept the full experience in one lockout. So on the first attempt, we gave it a solid, geez, would have been 4 hours, and we didn't get
Wow.
far with the pugs we had. So
Yeah.
we tried again the next day, and because it was using this system, we had to start from the start again.
No.
And after a good 5.5, 6 hours, we finally beat Illidan. It was rough, but yeah, I think it just highlights even more the forgotten beauty of the original system of being able to go into a wing, kill those few bosses that way, or say, oh, if some people need some gear from this boss, we'll do this wing tonight. or yeah, or just going through each wing over the weeks instead of needing to save your lockout. It won't hurt the hardcore raiders. In no way does this affect them negatively.
Well, Blizzard's clearly, I mean, they implemented that in the first place. Do you think they had an actual reason to not put that functionality back in? Do they want people to spend more time in their game? Is it a marketing thing? I can't think of a logical reason for them to take it out unless there's something in the back end that we're not used to thinking of. That sorry, let's just chop that up.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I'll let you trail off. It's just, I think, and I think we also saw this with the return of attunements, where you need to do a quest line or jump through hoops to unlock access to a dungeon. So they needed attunements for Court of Stars and Archway on Mythic, and Return to Karazhan on Mythic, which is the highest difficulty for a dungeon. To do those, you need to go through attunements. And last night we wanted to run Return to Karazhan, but of course we had a couple people who were really keen to come, but they hadn't been attuned, so we had to spend the night attuning them.
That's a real killer sometimes. I remember I recently picked up, I had a similar experience when I wanted to play Far Cry 4 with my brother on multiplayer. So, I jump in, it was on special on Steam, buy the game. We both saw really stoked. He told me how good the game was, and then I find out that I can't actually play with him because there's the prerequisites you have to fill that you have to play before you're able to play with your friends. And I think that some people don't really care that much about that particular part of the game, or it might be the first time they're picking it up, and they just want to play with their mates. And if you put a roadblocker in there, that can be a real killer to your franchise.
Mm-hmm. And so one of my guild members, he hasn't attuned to it, and he doesn't want to attune for it because he hates it when hoops are put up in front of him that he has to jump through. He'd love to raid do the dungeon Return to Karazhan with us. He'd love to. And from everything he's seen, he thinks he'd love it. But he hates it, and he ardently stands against it if you put hoops in the way for him to jump through. Where you say, you got to do these 4 dungeons, there's this small quest line. He's like, no. If I have to do your stupid things, I'm not going to do it. And he makes that stand. Unfortunately, he's, even if he's in the majority, not loud enough. Because I think, and the reason I think they got rid of the flex wing system, and why they got rid of, why they brought back Attune, is to make those loud people feel special again. And I asked some people when I was having a bit of a rage about attunement last night, and they said, I don't mind it. I like it. It makes me feel like I've earned it. And fair enough, but I don't like it.
What do Blizzard know? Only making the most successful MMO of our time. What do they know? Someone needs to tell them how to do their job.
Well, look, I've made forum posts, and they get flamed to hell. These these things would in no way negatively affect the hardcore players or the people who want to earn these things. But I say make them optional. I hate it when content that we've paid for is blocked off by needing to jump through these hoops. It's not like you need to prove that you can do the dungeon. Doing these dungeons don't prove that you can do the dungeon.
Yeah.
It's there's no eye level requirement on them or anything. Hell, you can get Gary through it. It doesn't matter. It's nonsense. But ding away. I could go on forever about this shit. It annoys the hell out of me.
We'll have to stop you mid-rant there, Fox, because I know that you will keep going if I don't. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Fox, this has been a great episode. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. It's incredible. The amount of stuff you know about all this is absolutely off the chain. And I just want to say, from everyone, from myself and the listeners, thank you so much for sharing this with us and giving your insights on these things. It's really good to have all this information wrapped up into one place. And you've obviously gone through a lot of trouble to find out the latest. And
look, let's just say, I do the hard yards. I have to play video games. I got to take one for the team sometimes.
Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Next week, we'll be doing the history of microtransactions, which you'll be able to buy every 5-minute section for a simple price of $2.99. No, I don't know what we're going to be doing next week, but I'm
we'll
sure
get
it'll
the
be
first
just as
one free,
exciting. My name is Darth Kcaj,
And I'm Dr. Fox.
and as always, remember,
Don't be a dick on forums. Go, come on.
and pre-order responsibly.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, especially since I just pre-ordered a game where I've never played the previous one. And I pre-ordered this one, the full package. This isn't the first time I've done this with MMOs, mind you. And it's bitten me in the ass with the Division. So we'll see how it goes.
Do as we say, not what we do. Bring, motherfricker. That was worse.